What up, bros? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Look at that. That's Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. That is one of the biggest fragrance releases of the past few years. Also, it's freaking expensive because it's double dipping. Yeah, it's a Chanel, which just by having that name, that means it's gonna be expensive, but it's not just a Chanel, it's L'Exclusif. Because you see, they're too cool for Elixir. Yeah, Chanel looked at everything and they said, well, all these peasants, all these morons making these Elixir fragrances in smaller bottles and charging more money. We would never do that because we would call it L'Exclusif. Big brain. Although to be fair, this is not in a smaller bottle. This is 100 ml, so yeah. But yeah, this right here, massive release, and here recently, there have been a bunch of, we'll call them inspired by fragrances. Riffs has one, Code Lodge has one, all different kinds of brands coming out with different ones, and now a new fragrance has entered the fray. That's right, it is Rayhaan's magnetic cap, no sticky. It is Rayhaan's Nocturno Elixir. Can I? Oh. That's where the money went.
I only have like $3.50, so it's hard, super hard.
So yeah, this is the new Rayhaan. Again, that's why I have carpeted floors here. The new Rayhaan Nocturno Elixir. I don't actually have the original Nocturno. That came out last year, never bothered to pick it up. That one's supposed to smell similar to Sauvage Eau de Parfum, so at least they're keeping everything in like the blue fragrance vibe. I don't know what the new Nocturno will be whenever they come out with the new one, but you know, I'm assuming it's gonna be a blue fragrance. I'll have this one linked in the description. I got it from Beauty House, $47.50. That's the price before discounts. I do have a discount code, which is RACHA. So anytime you shop at Beauty House, you can use that code and save yourself a little cash. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the presentation, and then I'll break this down and let you know where it stands in the hierarchy of Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif dupes. The box. Pretty simple box, honestly. At the front, you just have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, and also the size down in the corner, 100 ml. Got the name of the house up top. On the side, some Arabic. On the back, pretty much nothing. Super ultra bare bones as far as that goes. On the bottom, you have your batch code, your barcode, your ingredients. And here we have the bottle. It's got a nice gradient. A little bit hard to see if it's dark, but at the bottom you have a deep blue, and then it goes towards kind of a teal and then black up top. You got the name of the fragrance, name of the house right there on the front. You have Rayhaan on the sides. Also on top of the cap, you have calligraphy on the back of the bottle and a little batch code on the bottom. Let's go ahead and do couple sprays. Here we go. Ooh, nice. Don't pick this up by the cap. So this one I got from Beauty House, $47.50. That is the price before discount, which I do have a discount code, RACHA. So you can use that anytime you shop at Beauty House if you want to save yourself a little extra cash. They have a whole bunch of different fragrances up there, especially cologne fragrances, Middle Eastern fragrances. Obviously, even before discount, that is quite affordable compared to the Bleu de Chanel, but how does this one come across and how does it compare to the other alternatives out there? Also in the description, a bunch of codes for other discounters in case you want to shop for fragrances at other places. Save a little extra cash. So note breakdown wise, the Rayhaan really simple, 5 notes. To be fair though, that pretty much is keeping it in line with Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, which also has a really very simple note breakdown. According to Beauty House, the Rayhaan fragrance off the top has citrus notes along with bergamot, which is a citrus. So technically it could just say citrus notes, but you know, heck with it. In the mid, it has aromatic notes. And then in the base, sandalwood and amber. And the way that this one opens up is really interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and do a couple blasts on my hand here. So this one opens up with a good blast of citrus, not necessarily what I would call sharp, but it does cut through everything initially with just a faint amount of fizziness, not really sweet, so there's no like sugared edge to it. And you can pick up that woody aspect of the fragrance pretty much right away. So sandalwood is going to be, of course, one of the main woody notes that you pick up in here. Also, that's gonna be the same in Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, which I think also technically has additional woody notes, but yeah. So slightly creamy, but also with good density as well. Comes across really classy, and I will tell you, right off the rip, as soon as I sprayed this one on, I knew immediately it's better than the other dupes that I own of Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. Now, I don't imagine this is gonna be the last one that comes out because seems like every brand is probably gonna come out with their own version before too long. It's not a coincidence when you have 3 or 4 come out within like a month. That means everybody is. All you have to do is look at, for example, Xerjoff Naxos. You know, every single frickin' brand out there came out with their version or 2 versions all at once. Same thing is happening right now with this. So yeah, the Rayhaan opens up great. It smells really nice with the citrus punching through immediately and then starting to settle very quickly with the woody notes coming out. Now, the first time I sprayed it on, it did have an almost like slight animalic tinge to it. Like the first time that I sprayed this on and smelled it, I was like, wow, that is strong, man. It's got like a pungent slap when you spray it on. I don't know if I got used to the fragrance after that first time or something though. It didn't really happen that way again. I kind of wanted more of that animalic little hit, but yeah. So a little bit odd, but yeah, first time I sprayed it on, kind of a slap to the nose, and then after that, much smoother. The aromatic notes that are in the Rayhaan here, not really heavy-handed. It has a nice clean aspect to it, some slight sweetness that starts to ramp up a little bit more as the fragrance dries down, so you get more of that ambery, sort of labdanum adjacent sweetness coming out. It also has at times through the mid like a slight, almost green nuance, like pine to an extent, like very faint, kind of working in underneath the sandalwood a little bit. And that gives it a nice little fresh pop here and there when you smell it. But anyway, as it dries through the mid, you get more of that amber coming out, you know, tonka, sort of ambery, vanilla adjacent sweetness, and especially in the air, smells great. It is sneaky, surprisingly strong through the mid, like you just catch whiffs throughout the day. I was actually wearing this side by side the first day that I got it in with an Extrait de Parfum. So I had this over here, the Extrait over here. And the other fragrance was strong too, nice projection and everything, but the only one that I kept picking up as I moved around was this. And it shouldn't have even been the stronger of the fragrances in my mind, because Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif is a good fragrance as far as performance goes and everything, but it's not known as being like a crazy heavy projector. And I will say the way the Rayhaan was hitting was not the same as like an aggressive projector. Like it wasn't the type that makes your eyes water or anything. It's just that type that you won't pick it up for a while. You'll go about your day, you know, 15 minutes, 30 minutes go by, and then you catch this big whiff and you're just like, whoa, out of nowhere, just boom, like it just comes up and kind of fills up the space and then dissipates again. It just has that kind of like coming and going in waves almost. So yeah, really the last part of the mid through the dry down, it stays pretty consistent. It's mainly that smooth woodiness, not aggressive, no like spicy hits from the wood, you know, like not like a dark, heavy-handed woodiness, and then that amber tonka sort of swirling sweetness that it has. And to compare it one-to-one with some of the other fragrances that I bought recently that are supposed to smell similar to Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, Cologne Icon, which is actually $2 more at Beauty House than the Rayhaan. This one is also trying to be more like, you know, just being Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, which is what this one is doing as well. Because I also got this, which is from Riffs. It's called Drift, well, Seasons Drift technically. And this is more like Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif with the twist. It definitely is leaning more trying to be fresh, like a fresh take of the BDC. But comparing these here, the Rayhaan compared to the Collage, way better. It's a whole $2 less, which doesn't matter much. Off my skin, the Rayhaan outperforms the Collage. It smells higher quality, it smells closer to the Bleu de Chanel, and it kind of just makes this pointless for me. But I did buy this one first because this one came out first, so. And also I think just presentation-wise, that looks better than this. Now, Drifts, a little more interesting because this one has more of a fresh take on Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, especially off the top. It is definitely sharper off the top. This one and this one far smoother. Like the opening of this one is just really like abrasive, like sharp, in your face kind of citrus, and it doesn't give the best first impression for me. You can get used to the opening here, but it's definitely taking Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif and pushing it more in like a summertime direction. It's basically saying, let's take this DNA, tweak it, rework it, and make it more for, you know, late spring, summer days. And then as it dries down, this gets a lot closer to Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif, but the opening is pretty different. As far as the actual fragrance though, if you're like wanting one that's closer to this, I would go Rayhaan all day. If you're wanting one that is more warm weather centric, I'd go Riffs. But between the two, I think Rayhaan's better. And then of course, there's also Club de Nuit Iconic Extrait, but for me, that one's just not on the same level either. It's a different kind of vibe. Those are the only ones that I have right this minute, but yeah, of those, easily, this is the best one. As far as when you would use the Rayhaan, for me, the exact same time as the Chanel. So we're talking mainly fall, winter, early spring, daytime or evening, maybe with a little bit of a lean toward the evening. During the summer, you could pull it off, but I think it'd be more suited for evening use during the summer also. Now I mentioned this before, but the performance for the Rayhaan is locked in. The longevity is there, the projection is there. It sticks on skin and gives you a really pleasant scent cloud. So I've already pretty much given you guys the verdict. The Rayhaan is great for $47.50. If it drops even more, even better. So let's hit those pros and cons really quickly and wrap this one up. First, the pros. The first pro, to me, this is the best Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif alternative on the cheap right now. The quality is there. It smells great from the opening into the dry down. The performance is great. It comes and goes in waves, but when you catch a whiff, it smells amazing. And it's not really the same thing at all, but putting this one up against Pharaoh and Tonkin Giza, a couple of recent releases from Rayhaan, I think this one stands above those. I really, really dig this stuff. Now the cons. It is essentially just trying to be Bleu de Chanel L'Exclusif. If you're looking for a twist or you're looking for something crazy unique, that's not what you'll find here. But to be fair, if you're buying this, you probably don't care. The second con, which is not a huge con, but it is a little bit more toward the middle upper tier of pricing for cologne brands. So it's most likely not gonna hit that lower tier of, $30 and below at any point, really. And really, that's pretty much about it as far as the cons go. This stuff is pulled off really well. Yeah, stuff friggin' smells great. So there it is, Rayhaan Nocturno Elixir. I don't know that it's gonna get as much hype as some of the other ones that Rayhaan has done, but it deserves it. This stuff is good. All right, guys, I wanna thank you for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.